One of the hottest topics in today's arena is arguing if the DOE should be dismantled or not. According to WhiteHouse.gov, President Donald J. Trump has issued an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education at a federal level and bring it back to the states. With this ongoing topic, this brings us to our research question. Should the DOE be dismantled when looking at the short and long-term impacts? First, we are going to take a look at the reasonings and benefits through the historical lens, the educational lens, and lastly, the political lens. Our first representative speaking today will be Mae Breckenridge through the historical lens.
Education has in America's whole history been the major hope for improving the individual and society by Gundam Riddell. But what does this quote mean? This quote means that throughout the United States history, education has been seen as the primary way to better both personal lives and the overall community. It suggests a belief that education is the key to individual advancement and social progress. And when I say social progress, I mean the advancement on focusing on meeting basic human needs, enhancing the quality of life, and fostering opportunities for individuals to reach their full potential. Does dismantling the DOE take away these opportunities for individuals? Yes, it can. According to edtrust.org, dismantling the DOE leads to a decrease in funding for special education programs. Without a strong federal presence, local agencies may struggle to meet the needs of students, particularly those with the most complex disabilities. The debate on dismantling the DOE has been going on since 1980. Today, we're going to look at the historical aspect of the DOE, while also discussing the DOE's origins and evolutions, arguments for and against the DOE existence, and advancing national priorities. According to ed.gov, the DOE, Department of Education, has been around since 1867. The Department of Education was envisioned as a focal point for collecting and communicating crucial information about schools and teaching methodologies, aimed at empowering states to build effective educational systems. This foundational role has since evolved into a steadfast commitment to equity and excellence in education. The department's influence is evident in landmark legislation such as Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which prohibits discrimination based on race, sex, and disability, ensuring equal access to education for all. The 1983 report, A Nation at Risk, served as a catalyst for educational reform, underscoring the urgent need for federal leadership to enhance student achievement and global competitiveness. In response, the DOE has spearheaded initiatives aimed at promoting educational excellence and equity, ensuring that every student, regardless of their background, has access to high-quality education. This commitment culminated in the No Child Left Behind Act of 2002, which emphasized accountability and standardized testing to ensure that disadvantaged students have the fair share and have an equal support and resources that they need. As we reflect on the DOE's origins and evolution, it becomes clear that dismantling this vital institution would undermine decades of progress in advancing educational equity and excellence. By persevering and strengthening the DOE, we can assure that students have the opportunity to reach their full potential and contribute to a brighter future for our nation. If the DOE in the past has helped ensure everybody gets a fair education, regardless of their background, why is it a debate to dismantle it? According to the New York Times, some people believe that federal government's role in education is not explicitly mentioned in the U.S. Constitution. However, the federal government has a positive impact on the DOE. For instance, in 1965, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was enacted to provide federal funding to schools, promote equal access to education. In 1980, the DOE was established as a cabinet-level agency to consolidate federal education programs and activities. And last 2015, the Every Student Succeeds Act replaced the NCLB, giving states more flexibility in inserting education standards and accountability measures. According to EveryStudentSucceedsAct.org, the federal government, through Every Student Succeeds Act, reauthorized the Elementary and Secondary Act of 1965, shifting power and responsibility for for school performance and accountability, from the federal level to the states. Another reason some people believe the DOE should be dismantled is because despite the DOE's efforts and funding, critics argue that national academics have not significantly improved. Achievement gaps persist, and some believe that testing and funding can shape what is taught. While funding can shape what is taught, funding usually comes with necessary guidelines to ensure equity and equality. States and local districts still have considerable autonomy in curriculum setup. Federal funding can address critical gaps, support disadvantaged students, and promote innovation, which might not otherwise be prioritized. The goal is to enhance, not dictate, educational standards, which ensures all students have access to well-rounded education while still respecting local control. A big topic of the DOE is funding. While the DOE funding does not take away the funding completely, it decreases it. I have viewed somebody firsthand being affected by funding. I went on a field trip this year to the state library. Our tour guide was a children's librarian. You could tell something was wrong with her. She had a sorrowful look on her face. And then she told us she was worried what's going to happen to resources that were funded and now were going to be taken away from people who need it. So far, we have talked about the DOE's origins and evolutions, what each act was used for, and discussed arguments for and against dismantling the DOE, while bringing up the past that has led us to where we are today. The Department of Education role in advancing national priorities is not just a theoretical concept, it's historical reality. As Francana.com notes, during the Cold War, our competition with Soviet Union heavily influenced education, leading to a focus on science and technology. This culminated in the National Defense Education Act of 1958, significantly improving science, math, and foreign language education, while providing crucial funding for college students. Dismantling the DOE would mean losing a vital tool that has historically driven our nation's progress and competitiveness during critical times. We risk losing the ability to effectively respond to future challenges and prioritize essential areas of education. The DOE's commitment to advancing national priorities extends beyond the wartime scenarios. Take, for instance, the Aftermath of 1983 report. According to Hoover.org, A Nation at Risk, which exposed critical shortcomings in our education system, in response, the DOE spearheaded reforms and initiatives to elevate educational standards and tackle achievement gaps, especially for our most vulnerable students. Dismantling the department would undermine our ability to address such critical issues proactively and ensure equitable education opportunities for all Americans. This mission has been central to his historical role. As Gunnar Riddell observed, education has always been the cornerstone of individual and societal advancement in America. This enduring belief underscores the critical role of education in enhancing the quality of life and meeting basic human needs, and empowering the individuals to reach their full potential. Dismantling the Department of Education, however, threatens to undermine these opportunities. As highlighted by organizations by edtrust.org, such action could lead to a decreased funding for vital special education programs, leaving local education agencies struggling to support students with complex disabilities. The debate surrounding the DOE's existence has persisted since 1980, but it's essential to consider the historical context of its origin and evolution. From its establishment, the DOE has played a pivotal role in promoting education equality and excellence, ensuring that all students, regardless of their background, has access to high-quality education. This commitment is evident in landmark legislation, such as the No Child Left Behind Act, which aims to hold students accountable for students' achievement and provide resources to support disadvantaged students. Ultimately, dismantling the DOE would jeopardize decades of progress in advancing national priorities in education. By persevering and strengthening the DOE, we can reaffirm our commitment to empowering individuals, fostering social progress, and building a brighter future for all Americans. Let us not dismantle the very foundation upon which our nation's future rests. Today, we have gone over the DOE's origins and evolutions, arguments for and against the DOE's existence, and advancing national priorities. And remember how the DOE has been a major part for improving the individual and society from today. Don't let people take away other people's opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Babe, for giving your reasons on why we shouldn't dismantle the Department of Education. With a similar viewpoint, our next speaker is Case Morehouse through the Education Alliance.
Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself, by John Dewey. As we put this quote into perspective, we open up a range of topics on a topic that is so controversial. This two-sided topic brings multiple perspectives to the table that will therefore be evaluated in this report. The essential question reads, should the DOE be eliminated when looking at the short and the long-term impacts? Today, I'll be discussing multiple topics revolving the upkeep of the Department of Education, including the financial, educational, and positive impacts it displays. While some argue for its dissolution, I believe that eliminating the Department of Education would have detrimental effects on our educational system, particularly concerning children's access to quality education and equal opportunities for learning. Together, let's delve into the various dimensions of this critical issue. In the speech beforehand, Breckenridge outlines the historical aspect of the DOE and therefore convinces the audience to consider the deleterious effects of removing it. I'm here today to step next in line and stand in the keeping for the DOE for the better of our country for a number of detailed reasons. Firstly, let us consider the essential role of the DOE in establishing educational standards. The department helps ensure a minimal level of quality across schools nationwide. It sets guidelines for curriculum, teacher qualification, and school funding, working to reduce disparities in education. For instance, the initiative known as the Common Core State Standards is in fact backed by the DOE. By seeking to standardize learning outcomes across states, the DOE ensures that students are assessed based on consistent metrics. This provides all students with the opportunity to achieve a certain level of knowledge, regardless of their zip code, as well as standardized testing can help identify schools that need additional help or intervention. Without these standards, as we risk creating a fractured system where some children receive a subpar education simply due to where they live. 9.8 million students are enrolled in rural areas according to the National Center for Educational Statistics. Put this into perspective. A child in the rural areas receives limited exposure to technology and advanced subjects, while their urban counterpart thrives in a well-resourced school. The disparity in educational quality is detrimental not only to individual students, but to society as a whole. Next, we must address the implications of eliminating the DOE as a whole. The department administers federal funding to schools, aids in the construction and renovation of educational facilities, and support growth programs for underserved communities. Federal funding, while only a portion of school budgets, is crucial, especially for Title I schools that serve low-income students. Programs such as free breakfast and lunch, and special educational services, and mentoring programs rely heavily on this funding. Recently, the pandemic has underscored how vital these resources are. Many schools struggle with remote learning, and federal assistance through programs such like the ESSER funds help students purchase technology, improve infrastructure, and provide mental health services during these challenging times. We also look at the students who want to further their education through the college route. Without the overall backing of the DOE, the support is limited and minimal, which is heartbreaking to not only the person directly affected, but the family as well. According to newsnation.com, it states, if the government does decide to reduce or eliminate the department role in lending for education, students who would need help to afford college rely heavily on private lenders. This changes the overall dynamic and possibility to decrease in continuation of one education. Without the DOE's financial backing, we could see a regression in not only the educational environment, harming students who are already at a disadvantage. Another vital aspect of the DOE's mission is to address educational inequity. The department enforces laws such as the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, ensuring that all children, regardless of their circumstances, have the right to a quality education. The DOE's Office for Civil Rights works tirelessly to investigate complaints of discrimination and ensures compliance with federal laws that protect students' rights. In recent years, initiatives aimed at improving access for LGBTQ+ students, students of colors, and those who highlight with disabilities, the DOE actively seeks to level the playing field, according to NEA.org. Consider a case where a child with special needs is denied appropriate resources and support in a public school setting. Thanks to the protections and guidelines set forth by the DOE, parents have a legal resource to ensure their child receives the necessary accommodations to succeed. Eliminating the DOE could reverse this progress, leaving our most vulnerable students without the protection that they need. Now let us discuss the long-term implications of dismantling the DOE's potential elimination. Education is an investment in our future, directly affecting our economy and society. A well-educated population is the bedrock of a strong, innovative, and yet competitive nation. Studies have shown that increased education correlates with higher earning potential, lower unemployment rates, and improved health outcomes. For example, according to research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, individuals with a bachelor's degree earn on average over $1 million more throughout their lifetimes than those with only a high school diploma. Conversely, if we dismantle the DOE, we risk creating a generation of undereducated adults who may struggle to find stable employment or contribute productively to the society. In the long run, this could lead to an increased reliance on social welfare programs, higher crime rates, and diminished quality of life. The societal costs of an uneducated population extend far beyond individual hardships. They impact communities and the fabric of our nation. Instead of advocating for the elimination of the Department of Education, we should call for its reinforcement and reform. The challenges we face in education today, from shortages as well as budget cuts, we require collaborative effort to strengthen our system. According to ED.gov, it is shown that in 2025, $600 million in grants have been cut already that were used to train teachers. Rather than serving ties, let's invest in the DOE and provide it with the necessary resources to adapt to a rapidly changing educational landscape. This means advocating for funding increases, pushing for more robust training programs for teachers, and enhancing partnerships between the federal and local educational institutions. Engaging parents, educators, and community leaders in discussions about educational reform can also pave the path for innovative solutions. By working collaboratively, we can address the shortcomings of the current system while returning the foundational support offered by the DOE. In conclusion, while debates around the efficiency of the Department of Education have merit, abolishing it poses profound risk for our child's education. The DOE serves as a cornerstone for maintaining educational standards, ensuring equitable funding, and advocating for all students. Rather than eliminating the DOE, we should focus on reforming it to better serve our educational system. It is crucial that we protect our children's rights to a quality education, provide them with the tools that they need to succeed. The future of our country depends on it. Do what's right and stand with me. Back and support your educational systems from a local to a national level. Stand up for what is right and support those decisions made for the better sake of your children. We want our country as a whole to thrive and prosper for years to come. And without those known benefits of the DOE, the ability for the continuation of success will fall and lives will change. Make your voice heard and be loud to help continue our upstanding as a country. Thank you.
Thank you, Case, for your research and information on why the DOE should not be dismantled. Now, moving on to Nathan, who will contradict me in Case on why the DOE should be dismantled.
The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education. This quote from Martin Luther King Jr. explains the actual true goal of education. In this speech, I will talk about how education is deeply personal. It is something that affects every family, every child, and is the very future of our country. In the past two speeches, you've heard Maeve discuss the benefits of not dismantling the Department of Education through the historical lens, and Case's benefits and reasonings for keeping the DOE as well through the educational lens. In my speech, through the political lens, I'm going to contradict their main objective by convincing you through my lens. I will provide facts and evidence to persuade you that the Department of Education needs to be eliminated for the better future of this country. Let's stop pretending this is just a policy issue. This isn't about bureaucracy, it's about our kids. It's about who they become, and it's about whether they'll rise or fall in a system that claims to serve them, but too often fails them. And that's why today, I want to make a case that some may call bold, even radical, but I call it necessary. It's time to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. Not because we don't care about education, but because we care about it too much to keep letting Washington get it wrong. Who should be in charge of your child's future? Let me ask you, who knows what's better for your children or yourself? Is it you, the student, their parent, the teacher, their mentor, or is it some bureaucrat in a windowless office in Washington, D.C. that's never stepped foot in your home, your school, or your community? Because right now, that's exactly who's holding the reins. For decades, the Department of Education has centralized power, imposed top-down mandates, and turned classrooms into testing labs for political experiments. They've taken authority away from parents and local communities and handed it to federal officials who think they know better than you, but you don't. And it's time to take that power back. Before we jump into the short-term benefits favoring the dismantling of the Department of DOE, in a survey conducted by CensusBureau.org, the Department of Education was among the bottom 3 favorable federal agencies. About 4 in 10 U.S. adults said they had a favorable opinion of the department, while 60% had an unfavorable opinion. That put it near the bottom of the 16 federal agencies and departments they asked about in terms of favorability. Moving forward, let's discuss the 3 short-term benefits that I like to call the 3 R's: relief, respect, and results. Let's talk about what happens immediately when you remove the Department of Education out of the equation. The first benefit is simple, and it's powerful: maintaining local control. States, school boards, and families will be free to design the kind of education that fits their kid and not somebody else's. A child growing up on a farm in Indiana doesn't need the same education system as a child growing up in a tech hub in California. A one-size-fits-all system fails them both. By returning power to local leaders, we are allowed for customized, responsive, community-based education. We go from a country of mandates to a country of meaningful choices. The second reason is dollars in classrooms. Do you know how much of your taxpayer money is swallowed up before it ever reaches a teacher's desk? Billions. According to a 2019 report by the U.S. Government Accountability Office, over $70 billion in federal education funding is allocated annually, yet only a significant portion goes towards administrative, regulatory costs at the federal level. Every single year, billions are funneled into federal bureaucracy. It doesn't go to pencils, it doesn't go to technology, and it doesn't go to teachers' pay. It goes to keeping the machine running. Dismantling the department doesn't mean cutting education, it means cutting waste. When we do that, we can redirect the funding back to where it belongs, in the hands of our educators, in the schools that matter, in the lives of our students. The third benefit is ending federal overreach. No more Common Core, no more one-size-fits-all standards, no more teaching for the test just to meet some bureaucrat's definition of progress. According to Diane Ravitch, a professor of education at New York University, research has shown that federal policies like No Child Left Behind and Common Core led to increased standardized testing, often narrowing curricula and pressuring teachers to teach the test rather than support a deeper learning level. The federal government should never be in business of micromanaging how we educate our children. It's not just ineffective, it's undemocratic. And removing top-down control will bring immediate freedom back into classrooms. Teachers can teach, students can learn, and parents can breathe again, knowing they have a real say in what their children are being taught. After looking at the short-term benefits, we can now begin to focus on the long-term benefits. Imagine what just happens, not just tomorrow, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Imagine a generation of kids raised in a system that's responsive, innovative, and rooted in community values, not political trends. The first benefit that we can restore the Constitution's intent. Let's not forget, the Constitution says nothing about a federal role in education. Education is not explicitly mentioned in the U.S. Constitution, leaving it primarily to the states per the 10th Amendment. That was not a mistake, that was a warning. The founders understood that when the federal government controls the minds of the next generation, it controls the future of our country. By dismantling the department, we are not being reckless. We are restoring the balance of power the Constitution intended. We are returning education to the states where it belongs, and more importantly, to the people. Dismantling the DOE unleashes innovation through competition. Let the states compete. Evidence from states with expanded school choice programs, such as Florida and Arizona, shows improved student outcomes in innovation and education through competition, according to edchoice.org. Let the best ideas win. Some will try charter schools, others will invest in vocational training. Some may expand school choice or homeschooling networks, but that's exactly the point. Different communities, different needs, different solutions. That's how you get real innovation, not from a central planner in Washington, but from passionate educators on the ground. Thirdly, empowering teachers and elevating the profession. Let's be clear, teachers are not the problem, bureaucracy is. Federal mandates have tied the hands of even the most gifted educators. But once we're free of that red tape, we can finally give teachers the trust and autonomy they deserve. They won't have to teach the test, they'll teach our students. We can finally pay teachers based on real merit, not compliance with federal checklists. We can finally put teaching back in the hands of those who love it and know how to do it. Finally, when we dismantle the DOE, we are depoliticizing the classroom. We all feel it every single year. Classrooms become more politicized, more polarized, more about ideology than education. But why? When Washington runs education, it becomes a battleground for political agendas. You remove Washington, and you remove the politics. We make education local again, grounded, balanced, focused on facts, on skills, on truth, not trends. They'll say it can't be done. I say it must be done. Now I know what the critics will say. They'll say this is too extreme, that it's unrealistic, and that it's dangerous. But you tell me, what's more dangerous? Trusting millions of parents to shape their children's future? Or trusting some unelected officials in DC to do it for them? We'll say we need the department to enforce civil rights, but we already have civil rights laws and the Department of Justice to enforce them. We'll say we're abandoning public education, but the truth is, we are saving it. We'll say, we are not burning the house down, we are just removing the mold. We're not walking away from education, we're walking towards something better. This is more than a policy debate, it's a moral decision, a patriotic decision. Because education is not about Washington, it's about you, your kids, your future, and what your dreams for America can be. We must stop waiting for Washington to fix the problem, because Washington is the problem. We must choose freedom over fear, faith in our communities over blind trust and bureaucracy. We must stop asking, what will the government allow us to teach? And start asking, what do our children need to learn to thrive? And when we do that, we can take the bold, unapologetic step. We don't just change schools, we change lives, we change futures, and we change America. So let's take back what's ours. So I ask you again, who should be in charge of your child's future? If you believe the answer is you and not the government, then join me. Join me in a fight to dismantle the Department of Education, not out of anger, but out of love, not out of rebellion, but out of responsibility, and not out of despair, but of hope. Hope that we can build something better, smarter, stronger, and freer. The future of our children is not in Washington, it's in our hands. We must dismantle the Department of Education and restore authority to the states and local districts where real accountability and tailored solutions thrive. Our children's future is too important to be micromanaged by federal overreach. Stand up, speak out to your legislators, demand that Congress takes action to eliminate the Department of Education and empower those who knows our students best. Families, educators, and local leaders. By dismantling the Department of Education, we are improving the quality of education for our future generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan, for your viewpoints on this topic. After careful consideration, we have chosen to not dismantle the DOE due to the perspectives it displays on the country as a whole.
As a group, after further examination of our research question, we came to the conclusion that dismantling the DOE would not be beneficial for the future of our country.
In order for us to stop the Department of Education from being dismantled, we need your help in reaching out to your representatives and legislators. Demand they stop this executive order now. Take a stand, take control, and make your voice heard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was good. Excuse me. Maeve, question. In the future, what changes would you make to your group's norms, and how would you expect that would improve your team presentations?
I would change. I think I would change maybe how we not practice but set it up. Maybe last week we could have been working sooner, but a lot of us were so behind to sports. But I think we did really good. And
Case, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
Yeah, so I think I worked pretty diligently. I think as a group we worked pretty well together. At the end of all of it, I think we both and all of us took a good amount of skills away from doing this group project. And I know that working collaboratively, we found a lot of improved things that we could have worked on through the whole entire presentation, but at the end, we did well and we did what we could.
Okay. Nathan, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified?
I think Case's educational lens had the most impact on me. As you heard in my speech through the political lens, I thought that we should dismantle the Department of the DOE. I think through his research and what I found through the educational lens, that we shouldn't dismantle the Department of Education as it helps millions of people. And I think he really opened my eyes through another lens rather than just my political lens.
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Let's give